Okay, so this successful snippet is all about follow-up and the fortune in follow-up, which is a saying that I've heard since I joined Norwex and even before that. And it's really the idea that turning a single customer into a repeat customer or a lifelong customer comes with building a relationship, and that's not going to happen if you don't follow up with them. And there's many ways to do that depending on where you're at in your business. Some things might make more sense to you than others, but it is important to develop a system of how you want to follow up with your customers. That is both ironic and interesting for me to say, because for a long time that was my biggest downfall. Self-admittedly was always the thing that I wanted to work on, but I didn't know where to get started. And then I got to a point where I felt like I was so far in this hole that I didn't know where to start. And as of this week, I can tell you that it's never too late to start with something new and to try a new system. You don't have to reach out to every single customer you've ever had at the same time. If you don't want, or if your system is not working that way, you can start with your most recent customers and work backwards. So really, this is just all about finding out what works for you. It can include a third-party system like Project Broadcast, which I just joined this week, 3 years in. I did a quick start training and have been able to upload all of my contacts. And essentially what this does is it provides you with a separate business phone number that you can text your customers on through the web-based application or through an app on your phone, for example, but without impeding on your personal cell phone number, and kind of allows you to separate and create those boundaries for yourself so that you can still use it during your work time or office time or dedicated Norwex time, however you choose to use it. So really this is all about just having a system and figuring out what works for you and realizing that follow-up can happen in a lot of different ways. It can happen in person, it can happen via email, it can happen over the phone with a phone call, it can happen through direct messaging or text messaging or handwritten cards and letters. So lots of ways to follow up. Find what works for you. The other piece of this that I really wanted to take a few minutes and talk about are some of the tips, tools, and resources that you can use to help organize information that's helpful for you to follow up. So I'm going to share a couple things in our dashboard as well as on Messenger that might be helpful. Okay, so I'm in my dashboard. I went to parties and orders and clicked on order history. So this is great because it has the option to search various things. I can click on specific parties and I can also see who my recent orders were. So if I were doing this, let's say once a month or every 2 weeks, I would know that I want to scroll back through everything in July, and those are the people that I want to reach out to or contact. If I'm looking at a specific party, for example, if I clicked on this party here, what I love about that is that it's going to group all of the attending guests and ordering guests into one customer database. And that's an easy way to either print it out or screenshot it and kind of have a checklist as you go. Okay, and then the other things I wanted to show you are in here. If you go to customers, you're going to see that you have customer reports. You can view your existing customers. You can add a new customer who maybe wants mailings but hasn't ordered anything. You have customer follow-ups for anyone who has reached out to you. This is where you can opt in for different catalogs and things like that. And so really being familiar with your back office in terms of how to find information about your customer base is important for the follow-up. And then finally, just going back to the building relationships pieces, when you're following up, be sure to personalize the messages so that you are not sounding like a robot and that they know they are getting personalized customer care. If you are reaching out to see if somebody received an order, how they're liking it, or if they have any questions, maybe throw one of the products that they ordered in there and just ask specifically about that product or share another tip. So it could be something like, how are you liking your netted dishcloth? It's one of my favorites. Did you know that you could also use it as a strainer when you're washing your produce, your fruits and veggies, your berries? Something, that's just an example, but something that jazzes it up a little bit and makes it real and personable, tells them something about you maybe, but also isn't inundating them with a long story and information that they might not necessarily need or want to know. So overall, in terms of following up, find a system that works for you. If you don't have a system, try out different things, see what you like, see what's going to be the most time efficient and effective for you, but also give you that return on investment as far as maintaining relationships and building relationships with your customers and feeling like you know where that product led them in their cleaning journey or any changes that they're making in their home.